Hibiscus are one of my favorite flowers, and one of my favorite facts that people don't know is that they can survive in cold climates, and a lot of them are actually native. So if you are interested in native plants, if you're interested in tropical plants, this is where the world collides. I'm starting off with one of my favorite hibiscus this year. It is a hardy hibiscus that survives the winter called raspberry rose. This is a hybrid with a Texas star hibiscus, but unlike the Texas star hibiscus, this one has really pretty leaves. I don't know what it's a hybrid of with the Texas star, but it has these really unusual flowers. And what I love about this compared to some of the other dinner plate sized hibiscus that I'm going to show you in a minute, what I love about this one is that the flowers are divided. So you see how the petals are like really long, and they're divided from each other in such a pretty way. It kind of looks like a star. I love that aspect, and I love how tall it is. I'm not quite 6 feet tall, but this plant is more than 6 feet tall, and it just has a beautiful structure. Like, it doesn't lean down like some of the dinner plate hibiscus do. And look at that. Look at all the flowers on this. The flowers are kind of closing up right now, but I would say early morning up to about noontime, they are just filling the plant. Here in New York, hibiscus raspberry rose will bloom starting around the very last days of July and really just continues up until frost. It gets taller every year. It's a perennial, so the whole plant dies down. Now, if you want a hibiscus that doesn't die to the ground in New York and starts up like a tree, you might want Rose of Sharon. It's one of the most popular, but I'm going to tell you a reason why you probably don't want to plant it. By the way, welcome to my driveway. We're going to get to that Rose of Sharon in a second, but I just wanted to show you all of the tropical plants that I have crammed here. I have my citrus thriving in the driveway where nothing should be growing. I'm growing tropical plants. And then if you look at that white variegated plant over there, that's actually a tropical hibiscus called Snow Queen, and it has the most gorgeous red flowers. And I am red-green colorblind, so if I say a red flower is gorgeous, that's saying something, because usually I don't really like red. I can't really see it that well. All right, we're going to go and talk about Rose of Sharon now, because this is one of the most popular hibiscus, but there is a huge problem because I did not plant this. These are not technically considered invasive in New York, but they're certainly getting there. These are not a native hibiscus. They are a hardy hibiscus, but they're native to China, and they are very vigorous. This will produce thousands and thousands and thousands of seed pods, and you're going to have seedlings popping up all over your yard forever when you grow Rose of Sharon. It is a beautiful plant, but again, I did not plant this. Tons of buds on it, so I mean, there's really no question that you're going to get a lot of flower power. The butterflies love it, but I just don't recommend that you grow this. You see, this is tomorrow's flowers. What I do like about Rose of Sharon is that the flowers do tend to stay open for longer than a day, and unlike those dinner plate sized hibiscus, these are not going to flop over, but I really don't recommend you grow Rose of Sharon. I hack mine down every single year, and I need to pick out those thousands and thousands of seedlings because they will take over your yard otherwise. Okay, speaking of a yard, this is the front yard, but wait till you see the backyard. I've got some really gorgeous dinner plate hibiscus, and you're going to see why they call dinner plate hibiscus. And my backyard's actually upstairs. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before, which is cool because you could get like these cool layers for my Tetrapanax plant. We've got our Rudbeckia, Black Eye Susans, and then we're gonna go up the stairs. Oh, look at those little tropical hibiscus. Those are just annuals for the year for me. Cannas. We have Bengal tiger, and we have two things here because my best friend Eleanor is actually holding the camera, and she is from Australia and she lives in New Orleans. This is Canna Australia, it's called. Isn't that crazy? Like, what are the odds? And I have my little Mardi Gras persimmon tree over here with the little Mardi Gras beads. I'm a poser, what can I say, you know? Alex. Thanks, Eleanor. You speak for all of New Orleans. Or is it Orleans?
No, New Orleans.
It is New Orleans, that's what I thought. I'm so proud of myself. All right, let's go into the forest, guys. Eleanor, I'm gonna smack you in the face, I'm so sorry. I tried not to. One of my dinner plate hibiscus, sides of my head here. This one is called Airbrush Effect. I'm also growing one called Berry Awesome. I believe these are both proven winner varieties. They're constantly coming out with new ones. They have some really, really gorgeous new varieties coming out for 2027 that they just announced. So I'll put those on the screen if you're interested. But this one is my favorite. I love the whites and the way that it just sort of turns into this deep pink. I find that it's really unusual and tropical looking, and it's a very vigorous bloomer. Now, again, these dinner plate hibiscus, just like that first one I showed you, that raspberry rose, this will die to the ground in the winter, and it's gonna be one of the last things that come up in the spring. Also, these flowers are only gonna last one day. So these flowers you see here today, gone tomorrow. The plant looks different every single day. This does bloom a little bit earlier than that one that's in my front yard, that raspberry rose. This will start blooming usually around 4th of July, and it just keeps on going and going. I have one in my parents' yard called Perfect Storm, because I'm a meteorologist, of course. So when I saw Perfect Storm hibiscus, I was like, we got to get that. And it blooms until November. In New York, guys, this is New York. It is so cold in New York in November. I have a couple of other cool hibiscus I want to show you. These are now tropical hibiscus. This is an unnamed hibiscus from Logis. It has variegated leaves, so I just love staring at these leaves. They're so glossy. They look like ivy, right? But right at the top of this is why I'm really excited to grow it. It's that flower. This is going to be a beautiful pink flower, and I have never seen it bloom because every single time it blooms, I'm on vacation. I was in London when it bloomed for the first time. I don't even know where I was last year. I think that we did another trip to Europe. We always go at the end of August and September for our family trip, but this year we did not. We're not doing a family trip in August or September. So I'm going to be able to watch this bloom in all of its glory. So that is a really cool, and I love my family trips. I'm so honored that we get to go on them, but like I've never seen it bloom before, so I'm excited I'm going to get to. This isn't a hibiscus, but it is a really cool plant called a flowering maple. Not related to a maple tree, but I just think that the flowers are so cute. They dangle downward. It's just very unusual. And some of those are actually pretty cold hardy. There's some that'll survive in a zone 8. This is a variegated sea hibiscus. I've never had blooms on this, but the flowers are to die for. They start off yellow and then they turn orange throughout the day, and they fall off with this beautiful orange flower around sunset. So when you're in the tropics and you're just enjoying the beach and you watch the sunset, these flowers are falling off and it looks like the sunset. But I grow them for the leaves. I've had this for so many years now, and I got it as a little tiny plant. So I don't know anybody else growing this in a container. Nobody else. But I just wanted to prove that you can, and it's pretty easy. This is just a typical yellow tropical hibiscus that's not blooming right now. I also have this really cool one called Midnight Trice. Lots of healthy leaves on it, but no flowers yet, so we're hoping for some flowers before summer comes to an end. This is another Australian plant. It is a relative of the hibiscus. It's related to okra. It's related to other types of mallows like cotton. It is called a Australian blue hibiscus. I'll put the Latin name on the screen, but you're gonna have to pay me to say that one because everybody's gonna make fun of me in the comments. And you'd be right to. Now look at this plant. This is not a hibiscus, but we just got a chat. This is an Allamanda. Can we say beautiful? This variety is cherry Jubilee. So you look at the size of that flower, it's just so much bigger than these Mandevilla, which we're so much more familiar with. This variety of Mandevilla is the peach one, so that's kind of a new one. Oh, one more plant I want to show you is my metallica Plumeria. I got this from Jim Little Plumeria farm. You can order them online too, in Oahu. And me and my mom were just like, wow, this plant is so cool. Let's just buy it, buy a cutting. And the cutting rooted beautifully. The other ones are rooting, but not quite as vigorously as Metallica is. And they have this beautiful bloom. It's just so stunning.
And it's fragrant, right, Alex?
It's so, so beautiful smelling. Do you guys smell that on YouTube? Let me know in the comments if you smell it. If you do, then you might want to, like, I don't know, check your air freshener or something, because I don't know if it's coming from my plant. But maybe you can smell this too. You just gotta sort of do that. Ah, smells so good. All right, this has become a very off-topic video. I don't know, do I have any other hibiscus that I want to show? I do have some more flowering maples. This one's more for the leaves. I love these flowering maples. And this survives the winter beautifully in the house. But yeah, I mean, I got plenty of plants to talk about, guys. So if you like this video, maybe consider sticking around a little bit longer and check out some other ones. You can like and subscribe, and we can keep on chatting about plants. This is a really cool one that Eleanor actually got the pleasure of watching me stick in my suitcase when we visited Fort Lauderdale a few years ago. It is a pink banana, Musa velutina, very cold hardy, and it's a dwarf banana, which means that it is almost tall enough to fruit, and the fruit is pink. So I think this will fruit this year. It made fruit inside my garage, but it kind of rotted away because it was the garage. It's 40 degrees, it's the middle of winter. So stick around because I think this is going to bloom. It's one of my tallest bananas right now. This is crazy. There was nothing here. Like, this plant did not exist. It died all the way to the ground, and now it is one of my tallest plants. Insane. All right, thank you guys for joining me in my little flower garden. I've got my beautiful dahlias and zinnias, and you know, we do have some more hibiscus to talk about that will hopefully be blooming soon. So this is just a little appetizer. Entree is coming soon. Sorry, I didn't eat dinner yet. Bye, guys.